Okay, welcome. I'm going to show you today how to do the church video production. This is what we actually do from on Sunday morning. We do it from our computer there near the soundboard, and we stream out to YouTube. So I'm going to show you all the steps that are involved, including the preparation steps. There are some preparation steps that have to be done before you can really get this all going properly. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to run through the steps in this little PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to actually show you through a screen capture what I'm going to do. So you'll have both kind of the overview and then the actual steps that I do. So first of all, you have to prepare, and what that involves is getting an image set up that explains, has kind of the sermon title and the scripture and the pastor who's going to give the sermon. So beforehand, this is something that you should do maybe 1 or 2 days beforehand. You can also do it like on Saturday morning, but you do need to do it before Sunday. So the idea is you need to know the sermon theme, the scripture, and the speaker, and then you need to go and grab an image from the internet somewhere that has something related to this theme. I usually use unsplash.com because you can get royalty-free images there. So you go on there, you find an image that reflects the sermon, some keywords that are related. You'll usually find an image pretty quick. They have some pretty good quality images there. And you don't have to attribute the image to anybody. You can use it without royalty. But it is a good idea to attribute the image if you can. And I've kind of struggled with how to do that. I think I found a good way that I'll show you by putting the author of the image in the YouTube description. That way they get some kind of credit for it, and hopefully it furthers their photography career. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add titles to the image once we have it, and I like to use the Mac's built-in image previewer. It's very, very simple. You can also use PowerPoint to do that, or any kind of graphic software that allows you to edit stuff. So I'm going to use PowerPoint because that's so common, but you can use anything that lets you put in text onto an image. And then finally, you have to export the image to a JPEG format so that we can import it into YouTube later. So after that, once we have our image, then we are going to prepare. We're going to sign on to YouTube. We're going to go to the live management screen, which allows us to schedule a stream for Sunday. And the idea here is that we need to reserve this stream so that we can know what the link is going to be. And that way people also on Sunday morning or beforehand will be able to visit our channel, and they'll see the title for the live stream, and they'll have this nice graphic that we just created. But basically what we normally do for this is we're going to reuse a past stream. You'll see how that's done. We are going to update the title, schedule, and image on the YouTube stream reservation thing. And then we're going to provide a description if possible. We haven't been doing this very much, but it'll be good practice for us if the presenter, the pastor, or the guest speaker will give us some kind of short description. It helps if someone's on YouTube looking for a sermon on this, it'll help them find it. And we'll also put in the photo credit in the description as well. Finally, when we're done, we've done all this stuff, and we've got the video kind of ready for Sunday morning. We will grab the URL for the video, and we're going to use that for the next step, which is the church team's email. So on Saturday, typically, I send out an email using church teams to the entire congregation that gives them a link to the YouTube broadcast. So it's an easy way for people to find the broadcast. Sometimes it's actually not that easy unless you know what you're doing in the church's channel. It's surprisingly weird to find the live video. But this gives people an easy way to click on it. Just find it in their email and just click. And then what I do is I send this email to the church after I edit it. So what I do is I grab the church meeting template that's in there. You'll see that. And then I update the URL for this week's video. I preview the email. I send it to myself just to make sure it looks okay. It didn't get messed up while I was editing it. And then I send the email to the congregation. So this concludes the preparation steps. The next steps are what we do actually on Sunday morning. So when you get to church, there's some preparation that you have to do. It's pretty minor these days because we don't have to, plug stuff in or anything. Everything's already done. The computer's ready. It's our new computer, the Dell, that's next to the old computer. And it's already hooked up. The audio should be working from the soundboard and all that stuff. So the main thing is that we use a software product called Open Broadcast Software, OBS. So you're going to have to open OBS. There's a icon on the desktop that you can find there. And so when you open OBS, you will go to the scenes that are already established. I'll show you how to do all that stuff. And you're going to verify the video and the audio feeds. So make sure you're receiving all that stuff. And there's a preview kind of section. It's divided into two windows. There's a preview window and then an actual broadcast window. So look at the preview window and you should see the expected video. And if you look at the audio section, you'll see you'll see the audio meters peaking and things like that, as you would expect. So if that's all correct, then you're pretty much ready to stream to YouTube. So you'll have to go to YouTube and go back to that management screen and click on our stream that we're going to be doing. And in there you'll be able to verify that the stream is being received. And you'll see that coming up when we do it. So then finally the next step is once you see the stream is present on YouTube and everything's correct, then what you want to do is actually make sure that you're looking at the intro screen. We have an intro screen before our sermon starts, and that is being broadcast hopefully from OBS. So check on OBS and make sure that you are broadcasting the intro screen. You should see it on YouTube. Just before you go live, you want to unmute the audio and open broadcaster. That's kind of an optional step right now. What we have been doing is we've been getting the feed from the presenter computer of our kind of pre-worship music that we play. So that's actually kind of an optional step. You might want to just broadcast that audio, and we've been doing that too. So just be aware of that. The next thing to do is to start the recording in Open Broadcast. So we are actually recording all of this as a kind of insurance in case our YouTube feed dies, our internet dies, or something happens to the connection. We at least will have a local recording that we can then load up to YouTube. But we also use that recording for our podcasts, so we do need that recording at some point. So once the recording is started, then we click Go Live button in YouTube, and that will actually start pushing the video out to YouTube. Just note that there is a delay between what is happening in real time in Open Broadcaster and in life in the physical universe that we're present in, and what happens, whatever goes out to YouTube. There's about a 10-second delay. So I don't know if that's intentional or if that's just has to happen because of the streaming effects and all that stuff. But anyway, just be aware of that. If you don't think what is being seen in YouTube matches reality, it's because of that delay. So don't panic. And so you want to, once the stream is going and it looks like it's working, step away from it for a minute, or use your phone to look at the YouTube stream yourself. You can click on the link in the email you sent out the day before, and just make sure you get there and you can see the stream coming in, and the video and the audio quality is what you expect. And then just look at the chat on the stream for any problems that you might, someone might be reporting problems there. Sometimes I have forgotten to actually click go live on YouTube, I'm embarrassed to say, but that happened. And usually someone will tell you that they don't see anything or they don't hear anything. So be monitoring that for any problems. But of course, if you've checked it, then it's probably good. So, okay, then there's some post-broadcast steps. Once the sermon is complete, the service is over, then you want to stop the stream on YouTube first, and then stop the streaming from OBS, and then stop the recording on OBS. You should do it in this order so that you have the best result to the viewers. There's a step called Remux, which basically converts the video in open broadcast to an MP4, which is a standard format. And we're going to do that and then save that MP4 file to a USB stick, because then we need to give that USB stick to somebody. We can also put that file in the cloud in our our Gmail cloud drive. So it's kind of either way. I find the YouTube's or the USB stick to be very quick, so I usually just go with that. But it's both of them are good. You may want to actually do both so that you have a backup on the cloud. And then give the USB stick or the URL of the cloud recording to whoever is going to create the podcast. And then if the video on YouTube needs editing, which hopefully if you've done all the steps correctly, it won't. But sometimes you have too much delay in the beginning or too much delay at the end. And it's a good idea to trim the video. So you can do this at home. You don't have to do it right away, but the sooner you do it, the better. And you can use the simple editor in YouTube to do these kind of trimmings. Sometimes you might need to remove something, like if there was some technical problem during the sermon, you can remove something in the middle and stuff. It's a very basic editor that lets you do that. If you need to do more heavy-duty editing, then you'll have to import it into something like iMovie on the Mac or Pinnacle Video Editor on the PC. We don't have that as far as I'm aware, on our computer, but we may need to add that at some point. In 24 hours after the live stream, YouTube will process the video and put it in our channel. So I haven't seen it actually appear in our channel until like the next day. So you have to be patient. The good thing is that the link that we send out through the email and stuff will direct people to the live recording that's been saved at YouTube. So you don't have to actually wait 24 hours before somebody who missed the live performance, if you will, wants to see it. They can still see the live version that's saved for them. There are some troubleshooting steps, and this is just for reference. You don't have to see this right now, but sometimes you'll have problems syncing OBS and YouTube, and it has to do with the key that they use to contact each other. It's a kind of a secure key. We don't want people like somehow impersonating us. So there's this set of letters and numbers that represent a key, and sometimes that key is not accepted for whatever reason. You have to get a new key from YouTube, and then tell the OBS software what that key is, and then usually that takes care of it. So that's as much of a problem as I've ever seen with this. So once you redo that key, you should be able to restart the stream and then see on YouTube that you have an excellent connection and that you see the stream coming in. So I don't have any other troubleshooting steps because everything should just work. The biggest maybe other problem would be audio, but that's all kind of established, and just make sure that the soundboard is sending audio to the auxiliary output. That's where we get our feed. And that's about it now for the presentation here. To give you an overview, I'm going to actually do all the steps that I talked about here. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so let me get this PowerPoint out of the way. I'm going to start by showing you the picture stuff in Unsplash. So you see I've been to unsplash.com and I've done a search for Desert Trail. That's kind of matching I think the theme of this week's sermon, which is being given by John Coddington actually. And the sermon title is The Road to Emmaus. The passage is Luke 24:13 to 43. So I looked at a bunch of these, and I liked these. These two here I thought were the best ones. This one by a lake, and this one over here by this messed up tree. But I'm going to choose this one because I like the lake in this photo, and that's what that looks like. It's by a gentleman named Ricardo Aguilar. So I'm going to download this. It's going to go into my download folder. And you can see here the say thanks to Ricardo Aguilar. I'm going to copy this to the clipboard and open up my little editor here. And I'm going to paste it here. Okay. So let's just kind of leave that for later. And so now we're gonna have to do some video editing. So I have up here, I have PowerPoint. You just saw that. I'm gonna actually create a brand new presentation, and I'm gonna use this one to be where the image is edited and stuff. So it's gonna be, I'm just using this as a graphics editor, and you can choose whatever you like for your graphics editor. I'm going to insert a picture from the file, and this is going to be in my downloads directory. This is Ricardo Aguilar's photo, and here it is. So now I'm going to add some titles to this thing. So this is just basic PowerPoint stuff. I'm going to insert a text box, and this is going to be the title. It's going to be Your Road to Emmaus. So that's the title that John Coddington gave us for this. And I'm going to do some basic font manipulation. So I'm going to set this to 72. That seems to be a pretty good size usually. Might need to make it bigger or smaller. Chosen this Damascus font because, I don't know, it's the Middle East, so it seems like a good thing to do. And I'm going to actually center this here. So you need to choose your your font color and all that stuff. This might look good as italics. That kind of looks good to me, so I'm not great with this stuff, so I'm just going to go with this. And then we need another, like a subtitle. That I usually use the sermon passage as the subtitle. So, but that's going to be smaller, and I usually go with like half the size of this, and this is going to be Luke 24:13 to 43. And I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to give credit to our speaker, and that's going to be John Coddington. So I'm going to insert another text box. Actually, I'm going to copy this guy here. And there's the text box. Now this one, I like to put this one actually off to the side. I think it looks better kind of off to the side a little bit. I think it, I don't know, just looks better to me. You can do whatever you want. I am not a graphic artist professional. So this might look better in a different color, but I don't know, I'm going to keep it that way. I think it looks okay. So this is our picture. I'm going to save it so that we, just in case something happens. So I'm going to call this Your Road to Emmaus. That's saved as a PowerPoint slide, but I'm going to actually need to export it now as a JPEG. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to choose JPEG and do the export. So now PowerPoint has exported this slide, and I'm pretty much done with this. So I will minimize it and minimize this as well. We can double check that we have what we expect. And what it does is it actually creates, when you export it, creates this folder. And if we had more than one slide, it would have put a whole bunch of them in here. But it just called this slide 1. So that's fine. I'm going to double click it, and it comes up in my Macintosh previewer. So it looks exactly like how I want it. And I think that's good enough. I think that's good. Sometimes you can actually resize it if you need like a smaller version of it, but I think this is fine. So let's remember that, and we'll go off and do our next step, which is to create the reservation for the live video on YouTube. So you can see here I have logged on to YouTube as the church account. This is svccadmin@gmail.com. That's who owns this channel. So you have to do that, and you have to get the password for that. And what I'm going to do now is go to the live video thing, which is if you click this button here where it says create a video, I'm going to choose the go live option. So it's going to take me to this screen, which is where you can go live right now if you want. We're not going to do that. We're going to go to manage, because that's where we will be scheduling the stream, which is what we want to do. We have the stream coming up tomorrow. It suggests that you can schedule with the previous settings, and I'm going to do that because it's going to make life a little bit easier. So I'm going to reuse the stream. We do have to make some changes though. We are going to we're going to make this April, actually that's correct, April 11th. I don't know how it knows that. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, it does. So we do have to change the pastor though. This is going to be John Coddington. And actually this is not private. This is public. Oh, I know how it knows because I did a test of this earlier. So make sure you set this to public, that this is John Coddington or whoever is preaching. And make sure the time is right, because I guarantee you this will not be right in most cases. So just be careful with that. This is really important. It's got to be the right time. Otherwise, no one will be able to get on the stream, or they may not be able to. You just start the stream anytime you want, but just make sure this is right. We're going to add our newly created picture, the road to Emmaus, right there. And there's our picture. And the rest is pretty much set. We do not have the set that is made for kids because it's not really. And then we don't restrict the videos to 18 only. It's open to everybody. So now we have a stream that is ready to go, actually. It wants to stream right now. We're not going to do that, but that's okay. We're going to come back. A few settings that I'll point you to. First of all, this is the key I was talking about on troubleshooting. That's the weird number. And you can reset the key. Sometimes you may need to, just to clear up those troubleshooting problems I was telling you about. But you can also copy it, and it'll copy it to the buffer, to the clipboard, and then you can paste it in the OBS software, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Oh, I do enable DVR because I want it to save the video afterwards so that someone can watch it later. They can also pause, go back, and do that other stuff. All the other stuff, I just leave it alone. Don't touch that stuff. And then I'm going to go back. You could go live right now if you wanted to. We're not going to do it. And I'm going to go back. Now we see we have an entry here. It's ready to go. It's upcoming. It's going to happen tomorrow, Lord willing. And when it comes time to do this, and you're going to actually stream it, you're going to come back to the screen, and you're going to click on this. And that brings you back to where we were, and you'll be able to go live. But you're going to have to wait until the stream comes in, because we're waiting for the stream. It's not going to let you go live right now until your stream is running. So, okay, so let's leave that for now. Okay, welcome back. So you can see here, I am on the screen for OBS, Open Broadcaster Studio. And this is what it'll look like when you open it, or it should look like this. This is in studio mode. You can see here this has some controls. I'll just give you a little tour of this. It's in studio mode, which means you'll have this 2-image layout. So the one on the left is called the preview, and the one on the right is called the program. So the program is what is actually being streamed out if you were to be streaming out to YouTube. The preview is what it allows you to see beforehand what's going to be sent out. So you can stage the next thing you want to show. You can stage it on preview, and when you hit fade, it will actually move it to to the streaming side. So what's actually being sent out to the program. Right now we are not streaming. As you can see, this has not been selected. We're not streaming nor recording. So we're just like in this preview kind of mode. We're just waiting to do stuff. So take note of these scenes here. These are pre-programmed collections of audio and video that's going to be sent out. So logo intro, all that is just a JPEG file that we are going to broadcast out. We have one for the intro, we have one for the outro. Basically, before the video, we will stream this image for a little while, typically with the music that's also playing inside the church. And that is what viewers will see, just to get them ready that they know that their stream is going, but there's just no actual video yet. And then during the actual sermon, we will go to the podium, and that is the video camera facing the podium. Right now, I'm doing this from my house, so you'll see just a bunch of flowers that I've pointed an external camera to. But in the actual church service, you'll see the stage and the podium. And we will switch among these as we go through. And then at the end of the sermon church service, we'll have this outro video or the outro image that we will then fade to. You can see how it faded out. And now we are back to the logo intro. So the sequence that we'll do is we'll have the logo intro visible, so we'll fade to that. Then we will, when the sermon is about to start, we will fade to the camera. And then after it's done, we will prepare to fade to the outro video. We'll let that run for a few seconds, and then we'll stop the streaming and stop the recording. So, but first we'll actually stop the YouTube video. So the way this is going to work is we'll go ahead and do a quick check of this stuff. So we'll fade to the intro screen. And now I'm going to actually start streaming. And I have it so it automatically starts the recording as well. Now you can see that it's all ready to go. It's live. It's sending video out. But whether YouTube is seeing this or not, we have to go out now to YouTube. So I've switched over to YouTube. I'm going to click on our particular stream here. And this is showing you what's happening. And I'm going to actually go back to no, not the channel. I want to go back to the live section. So sometimes navigation is a little weird and you have to go back and forth like that. Okay, so now we see that there is actually an error here. This is what I was mentioning in the troubleshooting section. So what I'm going to do is see if this change dashboard helps, and it did. So you can see I have an excellent connection now with my Open Broadcaster. So sometimes just clicking that will help. Sometimes you have to copy the key and go to Open Broadcaster, and I'll show you later how to do that. But the good thing is here we have an excellent connection, so the stream is actually being received by YouTube. It may take a few seconds to actually register the image in here. There's usually about a 10-second delay or so. So now you can see that our stream is coming through to YouTube, and you can see here that we are ready to go live. So if I were to click this button, we would be live right now. I'm not going to do it because this is our stream we have set up, and I'm just going to leave that alone for now. So, but that's what you would do. You would just click go live, and you would be going live with the stream. Now I'll go back to Open Broadcaster, and I'll show you. I'm going to fade out to the podium. So I'm going to select podium. You can see that in the preview. I'm going to fade over to it. Now we're actually we're going to start streaming this, which is going to be visible in YouTube in a moment. You know, like I said, it takes about 10 seconds to register the images over onto YouTube. So we'll just give it a second. And now you can see I've cut over to the podium view simulated by these tulips. So yeah, we would be live, and we would have switched over to this podium image. And then at the end of the service, we would choose the outro, which is previewed here. And we will fade to the outro. And in about 10 seconds, we'll see that appear over in the YouTube broadcast, which is it's coming up here real soon. You'll see that. There it is. Okay. So that's it. And once you have that out there, probably count out about 5 or 10 seconds and then stop the live. Right now, of course, I haven't started it, but if it was live, it would have turned red, and you could then stop the live feed from YouTube to our viewers. And that would be the end of the YouTube transmission, the YouTube broadcast. After that has confirmed that it is no longer live, I go back to the Open Broadcaster and I stop the stream and I stop the recording as well. And that concludes the whole cycle of broadcasting. The next thing that's going to happen is that the stream will then appear on YouTube after about 24 hours. You can also edit the stream. It'll give you an option. When you stop the stream, it will ask you if you want to do some editing. So if you know that there were some problems at the beginning, or you accidentally hit streaming too soon, and you were kind of recording or streaming out several minutes that you don't want, you can go ahead and edit that out of the video. So I will probably have another video to show how to do that, but it's actually pretty intuitive. Doesn't require a whole lot of instruction. But I do want to spend a moment to talk about this key in case you need to reset the key. So here's what the key looks like, and you can copy it. And then in Open Broadcaster, you can change the key setting by going over here to Settings. Actually, I need to, go into Settings and then go to the Stream option. And then here's the key. And if you want to replace it, you can replace it. I'm actually replacing it with the key that's there, so there's no point in doing that, really. But that's what you would do. You would replace that, then you would hit OK. I'm going to hit Cancel. But you could hit OK, and then after you do that, it's registered the new key. And that should solve pretty much any of your syncing problems between Open Broadcaster and YouTube. So, okay, that's really about it. Just one other note, we have this PC HDMI. This is a special video feed that comes from an HDMI capture card that is on the computer. What this allows us to do, if you were to choose this, it's not present in this computer, but if we were to choose it, we would see the video stream that's coming out of the presentation computer, the presenter computer at the church. That's the computer we use to do the worship songs, and if there's a sermon, you'll see the scripture sometimes is posted when we do that. So that's a way that we can capture that. And the only way we've used it so far is when we have special worship music that we're transmitting to the TVs inside the auditorium, or someone's prepared a special worship video that we want to show and incorporate into our YouTube broadcast. So in that point, you would kind of treat it the same way. You would stage it here in the preview, and when you're ready, you cut over to it. So that's actually a good way to go. What you can do is you can have the podium, so you can have the sermon going, and you could queue up the other stuff. So whenever, let's say we were showing a sermon, scripture reference during the sermon, we could actually see that come up, and then we would quickly fade to it, and then go back to the podium and fade back and forth like that. So that's how we're going to use that, and that's going to become more common as we go forward, because we have that capability now. And I think that's it. That's all you need to know. I hope this was useful and instructive. If you have any questions, just let me know. And take care. God bless you.